have you ever wanted to ask a buyer's expert anything? That's what we're going to do for the next, I don't know, like 17 hours, right, Amy?
Yeah. No one wants to talk to me for 17 hours.
I do. I want to talk to you for 17 hours. So
Oh, that's so sweet, but you don't mean it.
I do. I do. I do. So in case you don't know Amy, Amy Izzo is an amazing realtor from both Indiana and Illinois. And she you sell a lot of houses by herself. Like literally, she's like a one-man army. And I should say one woman, right? Gender non-specific, a one-woman army, a one-person army, whatever. But today I think we're going to focus more on the VIP buyer package you do on working with buyers. I mean, you work with buyers, you work with sellers, but we did an agent power huddle a few weeks ago, and then you've done ones recently that were more on social media posting and lead generation. You've done so much good stuff. If you are watching this and you have a specific question for Amy, type it into the box. I'm going to let Amy chat for a minute here and kind of get you guys warmed up while I get everything set up on Facebook so I can read your questions. Jeff Lyons is watching. What up? Hi, Amy, says Jeff.
Jeff Lyons is awesome.
Awesome. All right, so Jeff, if you tag people in this, Jeff, if you can help me out, tag some people, let's get some questions posted, and I'm gonna get everything all set up. So, Amy,
does it tag to my page or no?
That's what I'm gonna go make sure I've got you tagged and all that good stuff. So,
gotcha. Yeah, I see it does. Okay, I got it.
So here's the question for you, Amy, just to get this thing rolling. How did you get so darn good at working with buyers?
So I'm a natural buyer's agent. So, and I always think that we fall more naturally to one or the other, right? Sellers or buyers. I'm a natural buyer's agent. I love to help people. So that's where it comes from. I'm really great at building relationships, especially in person. And so, I meet lots of buyers in person. I always have. So that was the first thing I did when I first got into real estate. I really didn't know what to do. And this is my 7th year. So 7 years ago, I started in real estate. I left my corporate job and said, okay, I'm going to replace my 6-figure income in 6 months. I had no idea what I committed to. But when I commit to something, I do it. And I, 11 weeks in, had no deals and was like, oh, what did I commit to? And how, I've just lost 11 weeks and how am I going to make this happen? And I just started doing open houses, started talking to listing agents and started doing open houses and love them. And I still love them. And that's where I really started to meet people and create relationships. And I just get a kick out of helping someone meet their real estate goal, whether that and release their limiting beliefs around real estate, because we talk about objections, but I like to think of it as limiting beliefs. I think buyers often have limiting beliefs around what they can buy, if they can buy. So I work with all buyers, first-time home buyers, move-up buyers. I have my first $1.5 million buyer. I've never had one that high. And in my market, you gotta realize where I'm at, our average is about 230, 250,000. So that's pretty cool. So I'm excited about that. But it's really just, I'm just more naturally fall to the buyers. So now, does that mean I don't list? Absolutely not. I do list. So I sell on average about 50 to 55 homes a year. I've had years that I've sold more as a solo agent. And I'd say 60% of those last year were buyers, about 40% were listings. So this year I'm working, and I've been 50-50 in subsequent years. But this year I'm working on more listings than buyers, but I love my buyers.
I love it. Well, we got our first question already. And thank you. So now you guys know her background. You know what's going on. I'm going to keep tagging people in it while you answer some of these questions. So Leticia asked, she said, and by the way, if you want your name to show up here because on the broadcast, you have to authorize StreamYard. There's a link. Zach, if you're watching this, Zach, can you drop that link into one of the comments so people can authorize themselves on StreamYard? But she asked, what other tips or ideas to locate a home for buyers that is off market since we are missing out on offers? So she's in a competitive market.
Yep.
What tips you got?
So I would say use social media. So get on Instagram, get on Facebook, and just tell people what you're looking for. And don't just make one post on your personal page, right? Do that for sure, because we all have a network and they all have a network. So if you've got 500 friends or 2,000 friends, they've all got some number of friends. So just pass the word and ask people to share, but get in the community groups. I get in the garage sale groups, the community groups. I'm like, hey, and I use names, not last names, but I would say Jesse's looking for a $1 million home in whatever place, for his family, can you help me? What do you have that meets this criteria? You'll be surprised. People and tell people to DM you, message you, because sometimes people are shy and they don't want to comment because they don't want either some of their people to know, or in their lives, maybe they're thinking about something they haven't told everybody yet, or they don't want to be bombarded by a whole bunch of people trying to get their listing. So I always say DM me, message me and let me know. That really works well. Also, FSBOs, there are out there. Get on whatever, Zillow or whatever you use and find the FSBOs. Find the ForSaleByOwner.com is another one. And on Zillow, look at the Make Me Moves. Make Me Move is a cool little thing on there that people can go on and say, if I could get 500,000 for my house, I'd sell it tomorrow. Well, check their math, see if they can get that. My first listing ever, I know this is not about listings, but my first listing ever was of Make Me Move. And they wanted some ridiculous amount of money for their house, but they ended up listing with me and still getting a great price. And I didn't even know what I was doing. So, you use the Make Me Moves because you may be able to find homes for your buyers there too. And then I can't leave out, make sure you have relationship with your local realtors and just find out what they've got coming. I've got so many people I can call and say, what do you have coming? Because this is what I'm looking for. And I know it feels like so many agents in the markets are doing that, but I'm making calls, or I'm sending video messages to agents that know my name and they're answering me. And some of them are coming to me to say, hey, I've got this. Do you have a buyer for this? Because I'm always asking them. So do that too. I hope that helps.
It's very, very helpful. That was just like, I love how quickly you rattle all those off. Do this. It's awesome. No, it's really good. Really, really good stuff. So, Leticia, if you have other follow-up questions, type in the box. We will continue asking it. Lonnie, I'm about to tag you. See if you have any questions. Lonnie Fisher's watching from Pacific Northwest. Let's see. Zach had a question. Zach said, why do you like buyers instead of sellers?
Ooh, okay. I like buyers. I first got excited about buyers because the first set of people I really started to meet were people that didn't believe they could really buy or didn't understand that this process is really simple. When you break it down, it's really simple and it's not so complicated. It really isn't. It's just complicated because it seems big and scary. It's the biggest amount of money you ever spend on your home, regardless if you're spending $100,000 or $1 million. It's the most money typically that you've spent on something. And then when I really started to break it down, I owned a home before my parents did. So, and I watched them go through that process and they didn't believe they could buy a home and no one was really helping them. They hadn't connected with anyone that told them it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And it's just the actions we have to take to get to the when. No one ever told them that. And once I started doing this, I realized that's really where the affection for buyers comes from, is I want people to know they can meet their real estate goals, whether it's buying a house, whether it's moving up. I had a great buyer I met that also turned out to be a seller that really had a dream to move to Arizona in their empty nester years and didn't believe for a number of reasons that they could get there and they could get the kind of house that they wanted. And we made that happen. And first of all, I felt so excited we made that happen. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they made it happen, but they only had about 2.5 more years together, which was not their plan because one of them passed away. And so, that makes me feel really good that I helped them achieve that goal. And they were mature buyers and also turned out to have a really nice property to sell. So the fact that I was able to help them as much as I can help a first-time home buyer really gets me going.
I love it. That was a good answer, Amy. I always give the analogy of working with buyers is like skipping through the field, holding your buyer's hand and saying like, you want to look at pretty houses and listing agents like knock, 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 bang down the door. But you actually have like concrete reasons why, given what you witnessed with your parents. Like I love that. Like you're helping people achieve their dream.
Well, and I'll tell you this too, because working with buyers, I agree with you. I love it. It's very, very, very enjoyable. It can also be challenging because sometimes they have to learn a lesson, just like sellers. Sometimes they don't listen to us and they have to learn a lesson. And I had one recently that didn't listen to me in this market. We ended up number 2. We should have been number 1. And the offer that I had suggested would have been number 1. And it really made me mad because I didn't want to lose it. Like I don't want to lose it, but I had to let them go through the process. And then today, when I told them they didn't get it, and this is why I believe they didn't get it, they're like, we should have listened to you. And that's not what I'm looking for. But I'm like, okay, you've learned your lesson. We won't have this happen again. Now we're going to find the house. And that's more frustrating in this market, I think, than any other market I've worked in because the inventory is so low. And I'm like, I got to find another house for this family, but we will find it. I also believe everyone gets the house they're meant to get. And so we'll find it.
Yeah, I love it. And I love that confidence and that belief. Like, we're going to do it. We're going to get it. I've got more questions for you, but I want to drop a quick note in here. If you guys are just joining us. So Amy is one of our hosts of Agent Power Huddle. And she hosts every Thursday morning. So if you like the stuff she's talking about, she goes deep on this stuff every single Thursday and you're amazing. So our, Zach just reminded me to tell everybody that our Agent Power Huddle, podcast is now live. I don't even know if you know this. You're on iTunes and Spotify. And so if you want to go back and you are. So you can go, we can send you links to all your episodes. You are on iTunes and Spotify. So guys, check out the podcast. It's live. And yeah, it's awesome.
If you didn't make Agent Power Huddle today, you got to go watch the replay or listen to it.
Your volume got really quiet. Say it again.
Oh, I said, if you did, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. I said, if you didn't could do Agent Power Huddle today, you've got to watch the replay or listen to it because we talked about how one organic post is going to net me 105,000 GCI minimum this year, minimum. So you got to go check that out.
Dude, how cool is that? One organic social media post is going to net you $105,000.
That's minimum this year. And there's money in 2022 and 2023 also.
Wow. There you go. I think Zach just dropped the link to the podcast in the chat box there for iTunes and for iTunes and Spotify. And by the way, if you guys check out the podcast, please leave us a review. It will really help us get the ball rolling for momentum. So all of you, our closest friends, we appreciate you guys dropping a review if you like what's there. And Zach, will you drop a link to, I don't even know if it's uploaded yet, the one from this morning, the Agent Power Huddle. It was so good.
Not yet, but it will be.
All right, it will be by tomorrow. There you go. Sorry, Zach.
Our team is great.
It is, but it does take a few hours to get that done, to edit it and put it together. All right, let's see here. There was a question I saw. Where'd it go? Dana. I don't know how you're going to answer this one. Dana asks, does mortgage training help us as agents?
I think so. Absolutely. I always say I know enough about everything to be a little bit dangerous, right? I feel like the more I know, the more I can educate. And the more I'm able to educate, the more I appear to be the expert. And I'm okay, by the way, of like stopping the presses or certain things I just don't know enough about, or I can only go so deep on these topics. When it comes to when I'm really talking about mortgage, I can only go so deep. But the more that I learn from my lender partners, the deeper I can go and the more comfortable I feel. Now, I always tell my buyers, well, we're going to check that with the expert. We're going to check that with, so-and-so. Whatever lender I'm working with. So I've taken a lot of time, and I still do, to get to know my lenders. I have really good relationships with my lenders. I try to work with a handful of lenders over and over again. It doesn't mean I'm not open to others. I am, and I do work with others. And I want them to educate me. I want them to tell me. I have a realtor friend that just transitioned from the mortgage business, and he kept talking about the different kinds of lenders you want to be working with. And I was like, tell me about that. Tell me more. Like, teach me. I want to know their perspective. So that I can do their job, but so that I can prep a buyer properly in a buyer consult, so they know what to expect when they get on the phone with the lender partner. And I can take them through the process. And here's the thing. When you have a great relationship with your buyers and your sellers, they're all calling you along the way to check what they just heard from the lender. So and so said this, and is this what's really going on? And what does this mean? Or they're embarrassed to tell Jesse, the lender, that they didn't understand something about the underwriting process. So they call Amy, their real estate agent, and say, what is this Jesse guy doing? And I'm like, no, he's cool. He knows what he's doing. Now here's what's going on. And I give them more color,
I love it. Dana, does that answer your question? I think it does. It's a really good answer and really good question.
The more you can know about the lending process, I think the more it helps. In the beginning, and I don't know, Dana, where you're at in your real estate career, but in the beginning, learn a little bit about everything, right? Learn the kinds of loans, learn what the down payments are, learn about your local down payment assistance programs, learn just what you need to know. And then as you become more tenured with experiences, so transactions, not necessarily time, right? The more transactions we do, the more experiences we have, then dig in and ask questions of your lender partners. And if you connect with a lender partner that doesn't want to share with you, it's not the right partner. Get another one. There's lots of them. Get another one. You have choices.
I love it. And Dana says, by the way, I believe she's saying she is new. That is where she's at in her career. The perfect place to be, because she is open and ready to learn.
That's perfect. Dana, message me. Hook up with me anytime. I'm happy to answer your questions.
All right. So Amy, speaking of newer agents, when you were newer, because like you didn't start out doing 15 deals a month, did you? Like
nope.
you built up to that. What did you do at first?
At first I did nothing. The first 11 weeks of my career, I did a big fat zero. And I was like, what is going on? My first year in real estate, I did 26 transactions. So on average, about a little over 2 a month. That was my first year.
That's pretty good. And where did most of them come from that first year?
Most of them came from open houses. I did not have a sphere of influence. I was new to my area. So they came from open houses and just getting out in the community. I joined the chamber. It wasn't very expensive. I did that on my own. I started building a relationship with local businesses and just introducing myself. I gave my card everywhere. My poor children would do this in the drive-thrus and the cashier lines at the grocery store. She's giving out another card. But, I got them trained. They were even telling their teachers at school that my mom's an agent. You're going to sell your house? You should call my mom.
But that's what you do when you're starting out. You got to do that's what I always think is so interesting. I did an interview last night with the guy who's the CEO of RedX, who's been in the game for 15 years. And he said, you always have people asking successful agents, what do they do to get successful? And you don't want to know what they're doing now. You want to know if you're newer, what did you do 15 years ago? What did you do your first year in the business? Because you got to start somewhere. I love it.
And I'll tell you something too. You need to tell the people that you do know, even if they're not in your area, especially your social media connections, you need to tell them that you're in the business. They need to know, and you need to ask for their help when you're new. You need to say, I'm in the business and I'd love you to help me get started. Who do you know? Because one thing I learned a little bit later in my first year is even though I didn't have a local sphere, a lot of folks knew people in my area that I didn't know and they could introduce me. So as I got towards the end of my first year, I started to get some referrals from people that didn't work with me, but knew me. So that really helped. Also, when you are new, I was new and I was financially not prepared to be an agent. I didn't have a bunch of money for marketing and I'm afraid I would have spent it all the wrong way anyway. So I'm glad I didn't. So one of the things I had was time, right? I could knock on doors. I know that's harder to do right now. So I'm not telling you have to do that, but I could knock on doors. I could do open houses. I could get on social media in all the groups and watch for the people to post. I want to buy a house and I don't know where to start. Oh, how do I get a mortgage? And I could connect with them. And did I get all of those? No, some of them never even responded, but some did. My very first buyer came from a thrift store social media group. That's what it was called, thrift store, where people buy and sell stuff. And she had posted in there, I need to find a lender. I can't find anybody good. And I messaged her, and I didn't even know how to video message then, but I was the only one that direct messaged her. And she is still my biggest fan. And she will say today, 7 years later, that she doesn't usually refer anybody. She refers me all kinds of people for 7 years.
I love it. And it's so funny you're echoing this. It's literally the same thing the guy was saying last night was those initial people that you go win over will become your biggest champions.
Yeah. If you stay in touch.
If you stay in touch. Well, here, by the way, so Zach did just tell me. So the link that was posted in there, we have a link in the comments. If you check it out for the Apple podcast link or the Spotify link, that is to your episode from this morning, Amy. This is a direct link to your episode. So it's already on. It's already, apparently the audio goes quicker than the video one. So this one, like, dude, it's already there. It is on.
I have a goal this year to be a podcast guest. Now I am. Actually, I'm a host.
Yeah.
Just put in.
That's, if you're watching this and you have other podcasts Amy should be on, let's put Amy on a podcast tour because you'd be really fun as a pod. Let's just get you on a bunch of podcasts.
Yeah. I love it.
All right.
So fun.
We got a few more minutes, guys, for this Ask Me Anything. What other burning questions do you have for Amy about her VIP buyer package? If you remember that, about anything at all. We'll look over here in the comments. We've got people saying hello and that you're awesome. But
you're all awesome too. If you have another question, just interrupt me. But I'm just going to jump in and say, you've got to put an experience together for your buyers. So that's what my VIP buyer program that I talked about in the last Agent Power a couple weeks ago was about. Putting an experience together for them, doing a consultation, having a sheet where you can have them fill out that's just about them. Like, what do you like to do? Do you have any pets? What social media platforms are you on? Some of these questions are strategic, right? Do you like apple cider or champagne? Do you like chocolate or white? Do you like chocolate, white or dark, or milk, or like whatever? Do you like to go to the movies, or do you like to stay home? Do you like to travel? Where would you like to go? What's on your bucket list? Like, just a page, and it might not make a lot of sense to them, but you can always preference this helps me get to know you, and trust me, it'll help us in your home search. You're going to get to learn a lot about them. So just having an experience, I try to do a consult live, if either on the phone, on Zoom. Zoom makes it so easy now, and more people are open to it than ever before. And in person, if I have to, some want to meet in person, we go to the Starbucks. I don't need an office. We go to my lender's office, whatever we need to do. And we sit face to face or voice to voice, and let me find out about them, what their goals are, and what do they want from the home buying process, so that I can personalize their experience.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I don't see any other questions that have popped in yet, but we still have a bunch of people watching, so that's fun. Let's see here. Let's see if I got one last question, then we'll just hang out for a bit. This is the whole fun of this thing, is just get to like hang out and answer questions and be like, all right, Amy.
Can I tell you something I've been doing that over the last few months that my buyers love?
Yeah.
So one of the things that is awesome about working with buyers is you get a chance to educate them. But one of the things that can be challenging is sometimes they ask the same question 1,700 times, and you don't necessarily are not available 1,700 times. So I started making quick videos. Like, I have one about earnest money, like, okay, guys, congratulations. Now I've already told them, like, in person, you got the house, here's what you need to do. But then they get a text and an email video that just comes from my admin. That's me. And it's not, I don't say their name because it's one video I made for everybody, right? But it just goes out and says, here's the next steps. Next steps are order your inspection and get your earnest money in. And remember, that's what this is. And everything everybody's ever asked me, they're under 2 minutes. But anything everybody's ever asked me about earnest money is in there. And then they remember, and I tell them when we're touring, hey, now throughout the process, you're going to get little videos from me. It's really me. It's not spam, because people worry about that, right? Yep. And I want you to keep those handy, because it's going to help you remember things that we talked about. Don't be afraid to ask me again, but just in case. You know how many people replay my messages? And one of my buyers recently is someone that I worked with at another company. They loved the videos, and they even called and said, we were shocked at how professional this process was. We just thought you were a one-person show. And I'm like, well, I am sort of, but I have support behind me too, but it needs to be a good experience, an exceptional experience, not good.
It does. And you just gave me a really interesting idea for you. Ready? We're going to brainstorm live on Facebook here, but I bet agents watching it would like to see some of those videos. So why don't we do this? Why don't we take all those videos and put them somewhere into like a private link? And then you can, I don't know if you have call action. If not, I can set up a number for you, or we can find some, but basically make a number where people can like text, videos to this number, or Amy's videos to this number. And then they can basically set themselves up to like check out those videos in case they wanted to set them up for themselves.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm all about sharing. Give it all away.
And then we can put you on as a podcast guest on all these people's podcasts, talking about the amazing videos you use to help create a great buyer experience.
Let's do it. I'm all over it.
All right, cool. There you go.
Excellent. I love it.
I don't know how long you blocked off for this. Like I said, I was jokingly said 17 hours, but I mean, if we wrap it up a couple minutes, if people got questions, I just think stuff. This is fun. Is there any last takeaways, tips you want to leave for someone on the buyers, for agents working on the buyer side? Any last takeaways?
Just things I like to say to buyers when I'm talking with them on the phone, and they may say something like, oh, well, I'm already working with so-and-so, or I'm thinking about working with so-and-so. I always say, oh, wow, that's so exciting. Does Jesse have a VIP buyers program? Has he told you about that? Right. And most of the time they say, well, what is that? I've never heard of that before. And I'm like, oh, let me tell you about my VIP buyers program. So, and I explain to them that things that are going to happen throughout the process is they're going to get a home warranty. So, and I explain to them why that's important, right? And we can go over the strategies to make that happen, but this is what we guarantee them. They're going to get a home warranty. They're going to get inspection recommendations. They're going to get lender recommendations. They're going to get some help with contractors or anybody that they need to help with some minor things that they may need after closing. And then we're just going to kind of hold their hand through the whole process. So I go over all of that with them because I want them to feel super, super special. And I want them to know that I'm not just here to find a house and walk away. Like sometimes they think we're Vanna. So, right, from the Wheel of Fortune, we just turn the letters, which is, I'm sure, a hard job. Sorry, Vanna. But no, it's more than that.
Hashtag sorry, not sorry. No, sorry.
Right?
Sorry.
So all I'm saying is those are some of the things that I put into my program. It can be whatever you want it to be. So what are some things that you are comfortable putting into the program, services that you can offer or that you can build partnerships with people to offer that would be helpful to your buyers? Let's do that. Well, I also leverage things that are given to us. So in our market, I learned that our electric company is now offering, when you call in to switch over the utilities, to set up like all the Wi-Fi and all the TV. And so I just tell them that. I like called and learned about the program, and I just tell them that, right? So, oh, and I'm going to give you all the information on how to do all these things. And we're even going to get all your Wi-Fi and everything set up. So I have a relationship with the with water companies for people that need water softeners. So because they have hard water, and I tell them all that, like, we have everything you're going to need available to you at a discount.
I love it.
It helps.
I love it. I love it. Love it.
It is a VIP program then.
This gets me excited about working with buyers. It does. It's so fun.
And I know it's a hard market. Don't poo-poo the buyers right now. It's a hard market. The listings are coming. I mean, chase your listings, but we're all going to have buyers. Your sellers are going to have to buy too. So chase those listings, but work with those buyers. Find them homes. You can find them homes.
I love it. Amy, thank you. This was awesome. This is if you guys know where to find her, right? She's tagged in this post. Hit her up, message her. Obviously, she likes to share and help. So Natasha Hayes had put a comment in when I was talking about putting out your series of videos. She's like, yes, please. So I guarantee if we set that up, people will like it, Amy.
I will put that together. I will pull those together and get some help to do what you just said.
Yeah, we can talk offline. I'll tell you exactly how to do it.
Okay.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Here.